Hi guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Louisa. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, please subscribe. And thank you so much guys for taking me to 250 subscribers. I totally appreciate it. Now, as you've seen the title of the video, I was asked to give a little bit more intel on what's going on now with you know Cyclone Freddy, because I've done two videos already this week. The first one was just to notify you guys that I wasn't going to do any content, and then I ended up sharing some of the devastating effects that have happened in my area. And I think three people, I think two were from the UK and one from Serbia, which is crazy because I was like, wait, I have a Serbian watching my videos. But anyway, I was asked to kind of share how things are looking like now in Malawi. Well, today is a Saturday, so obviously I'm just going to do a record and then release a video. But today is a Saturday, and the death toll is at 438, if I'm not wrong. But it's at 438, so 438 souls that we've lost due to Cyclone Freddy. It's quite a shame because that's a lot of grief in the country. And I feel like the most devastating part was watching the state funeral where should I even call it a state funeral? But there was a funeral, and literally had about 200 coffins lined up, and it was sad. It was one of the saddest moments I think in this country. We've gone through sad times, but this was it. And out of like the 438 people that we already know have passed, about 200 plus more are still missing. Either they're still stuck in the rubble or in mudslimes, or they've been washed up. And the most unfortunate thing is a lot of rivers in Blanta are so connected that, for example, in my area, the place where I showed you guys that houses were washed out, it's very bad because it's so hard to find the bodies because the rivers are so connected that people don't know where to look, and they all flow into a much bigger rivers. So now it's like it's either they're still somewhere around the area or maybe they've been washed up to the bigger rivers. So it's very hard, and chances are very high that in the next few years to come, we'll still be discovering more bodies of people that were, washed up by the water this time. So there's a lot of grief, and to be quite honestly, I've been praying for like this country to get a break because we've gone through. I feel like the past 3-4 years have been very tough because COVID came and claimed lives, and those were a lot. And then recently we had the cholera epidemic, and that also claimed a lot of lives, and it's still claiming lives to now. And one of the saddest part is that even for those that have survived now are very highly to kind of contacted because a lot of them are staying in camps and sanitation is very hard or very bad and stuff like that. So the chances are very high that cholera cases will rise again. And also because we don't have access, a lot of us don't have access to clean water now. For example, in my area, we haven't seen water in like since Sunday. So close to a week now that we haven't had any running water. So cholera cases might rise and probably increase the death toll. And then now, like, people dying because of the natural disaster. So it's almost like we're not getting any break. It's traumatic experience after traumatic experience after traumatic experience. And this is the part where I'm just like, Jesus needs to look at us and give us a break. Because honestly, it's so devastating to kind of go through 4 or 5 consecutive years of just grief and pain and grief and pain and grief and pain and stuff like that. So literally it is my prayer that we get a break. And I think it's almost 80,000 plus, if I'm not wrong, if it's not 100 and something plus people that have been displaced. Either their houses fell or stuff like that. Now, just to know, kind of, before I talk about like some of the things that I found to be very hard to swallow in this whole situation, I just wanted to kind of also talk about the beauty side of stuff, because when we were warned that Cyclone Freddy was coming, I don't think anyone realized just how much destruction it would bring. And now that it's here and we've seen how bad things are, we kind of didn't know what would come through next. And it's so, the beauty side of everything has been seeing people, private citizens that is, just come together to help people that have been displaced, to help people in the camps, just to make sure that they kind of have an okay life. Like they have their basic needs being taken care of, even if they're not really, taking care of everything that they need, but like they are trying to make sure they meet their basic needs. For example, food and stuff like that. So it's been amazing just to see different people come together, make sure that they're combining resources for the greater good of other citizens. Like it's really shown our Ubuntu, like we like to say it in the Southern African, region, but like our humanity has really shown. And it's amazing to see, because it's really beautiful to kind of see that, because I don't think we really expected people to do that. And it's not just people giving out food or anything. Like there's a club for Land Rovers who literally were busy when the cyclone was happening. They were busy going into different locations and helping people that were displaced, taking them to camps and stuff like that. Anything, picking out food or whatever, they really made sure to be the first responders. Even before government intervened, they were there, like, helping out people in different ways and whatnot. Just I think recently I saw, was it therapists and psychiatrists or whatever, that have come together to kind of also give out services for free, just to help people process their traumas. So that's also something, another beautiful thing to see. There's Onjesani Kenan, who's doing an amazing job of collecting resources and making sure that he's providing food and whatnot with like different individuals. And what's very spectacular about it is that he's coordinating stuff from the UK. So it's beautiful to see how that coordination is coming along, and just to see that a lot of people are being reached out to. So there's that. And then there's now another side that also has shown the lack of humanity, or how inhumane we are as a society. One of the things that I really got bothered with was going on Facebook and literally being greeted by a video of a girl who was washed up by water, dead in people's arms, and they were taking videos of her. How do you have the courage? Like, where do you get the courage and the audacity? Honestly, where do you get the courage and the audacity to see a little girl who's 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that age group, dead because of water? Like, she has gone through one of the toughest times, and now she's there, gone. And the first thing you do as a human is take out your phone to take a video of this little girl, to share it on social media. How do you lack that humane part of yourself where you respect the dead? Because honestly, the one thing that this cyclone has shown us as Malawians and as a community, as a society, is that we really do not give two shits about anything just because we want to be the first people to break something on the internet. It's the I want to show people that the actual people really dying. We know people are dying. Trust me. I don't think there was anyone who didn't know that people were dying. If I hear that there's a mudslide that has kind of fallen on people's houses, if I hear there's a mudslide that has fallen on people's houses, trust me, I'm not going to think of, oh my God, that must be fun. We know people are dying. But the fact that you have the audacity to take a phone and video this little girl in her dead state, like we really have a twisted mindset, and it's sad. It's sad to see, and it's not the only one. There are many videos of when people were, digging up houses that had fallen, and that they're taking videos of people that have died because a house fell on them. Like, why? You could take a video of the fallen house, but you don't have to show the dead bodies. We believe you when you say that people are dead. We believe you. Trust me. I don't think there is anyone who does not believe that people are dying or that people died because of Cyclone Freddy. You do not have to show videos. But that was like the one thing that I was there looking and thinking, what have we become as a society? And I know it's not just in Malawi, it happens anywhere. But I feel like this is the time when I got the most shocked, because I don't know what I expected, to be quite honest, because I remember when I went to visit the place that had the river bank burst. One thing that I didn't show you was there was a part where we found someone's foot, like literally part of the foot cut out, which means that a stone or a rock had hit them so hard it cut off the foot, and yet the rest of the body was washed. No one knows who the owner of that foot is, because whoever the owner is went with the water. I could have decided I wanted to show that in the video so people understand how bad it is, but the reason why you don't show that is because I don't know, maybe there's a bit of respect of, I can talk about it because I saw it with my own two eyes, but to get to an extent of taking videos of it and showing it. But again, I could be wrong. It could just be my own thinking. Another thing that really had me flabbergasted in a way is how politicized this has become. And I guess we knew it would be politicized, but the extent it has been politicized is shocking. Like, I'm shocked. Because even in the last video, I did share about how a whole lot of communities have been affected, but I feel like the ones that are being looked at the most are the ones who are giving a buzz. So, for example, it's very easy to forget that people in Majinjeri were affected because not much is being talked about them anyway. So, not a lot of people really give a crap, It's okay to forget that actually a lot more people in Chiradzulu, Palombe, Mulanje, Cholo have been affected by the cyclone than people in Manja. It's okay to forget that that's probably where the most deaths are, actually. And a lot more people have been displaced in those areas than the ones that are being talked about the most. Because they are not buzzing like the way camps in Manja, Julobwe are buzzing, So it has been politicized the most, and it's so sad. Because what's ending up happening is you have people in different camps that maybe since the day it happened until today have not eaten. They have not had any access to food because no one is reaching out to them. The only focus is the ones that are buzzing on the internet. So, for example, the Manja camp is buzzing, everyone is talking about them. So a lot more people are going there because that's where they'll get the most recognition. For example, if an organization takes food to the Manja camp, they'll get more recognition because they've gone there. Not much is being talked about in the other areas I've talked about, because at the end of the day, they're not really buzzing on the net. And I guess even when I was doing the other video, it was just to show that a whole lot more places have been affected, and they've been affected worse. It's not a competition of who's been affected the most, but it's just a thing where we have to realize that the ones that are being helped out the most are not the only ones. Like, there are other camps as well that need the same resources, or that even haven't been outreached yet. And we all know how slow government is to react in such scenarios. So even for them to just wait for the government, it's hard, because if you look at cases in Machinjiri, in Tawira, you have a lot of kids who they were injured. They haven't eaten in 2-3 days just because no one is reaching out to them. So because no one is reaching out to them, so they're really just becoming forgotten in such a state, sort of. So I guess it's up until when government remembers that there are other people who need the same resources as the ones that are getting. Thirdly, I feel like Malawians will never cease to shock me. I know I'm Malawian myself, but like, we never cease to shock each other. Because why are you in a camp and demanding things that people are giving out of their own good? And I'm not saying that in a very bad way, but I'm saying it in the sense that if I have 10,000 kwacha and I decide I want to help someone in a camp, or I want to help people in a camp, to make sure that that resource is enough for a lot of people, I will probably go for something that is a little on the, not on the cheap side, but like, I will go for something that I know is reasonable in pricing, but it will have an effect to a lot of people. We've seen stories of, and again, Manja, this is what I'm saying, it's a buzzing camp, that's why a lot of people keep going there. Yeah, here's my son. But like, what do you want? Okay, here you go. But like, how are you demanding that you don't want things like soya pieces, you don't want this, you don't want that, when people are providing that? Like, I don't know how, I don't want to say demeaning, but like, it's very weird to tell someone who's doing something out of their own good and say, I don't want this, I want that instead. I don't want soya pieces, give me real meat. They're trying to feed a lot of you. And for the resources they have to get to everyone, it's easier for things like soya pieces and whatnot. So it's sad to see that there are people who have gone and think that, that's the best route of undertaking stuff by saying, oh, we don't want this, we don't want that, give us this instead. Like, it'll never not amaze me. Never not amaze me. What? What do you want? You want this? This? Now, I would have given that to you, but considering the last time I gave you something like that, you dismantled it. Very interesting to just see how we as humans, do stuff. We as humans demand for stuff. I guess it's in us, but I would say if you are in a camp where you've lost everything, I don't think what you're eating is a least bit of your concern, other than the fact that you've had a meal. And the fact that there are other camps who would die to be in your position because they have not had any food. It's very sad to see that people would resort to, oh, don't give us this, give us that, just because, like, think of other people in other camps who don't have those resources that, and I know that no one in the camp would probably watch this video, but it's just something that I thought I needed to say anyway, because I've really heard this. And anyway, the last thing I'm going to talk about is also the audacity of the government, to be quite honest, because yesterday that the president spoke and said they wanted proper audited, was it statements or something, from all the private citizens that are assembling resources and whatnot, and pretty much donating to the camps, because just they're trying to make sure that no one swindles anyone. But again, we're talking about a government that is known to steal from Malawians, and especially the disaster management department, where we've seen them with the COVID funds. They were not really well accounted for. And so for such people to make claims and want to account other people, it's kind of a laughing situation. But again, like I said, I understand reasons for doing that, because there are so many people who are saying that, they are assembling resources or they're doing this just to like help out. But we all know how that goes, because there's always that one person who then feels like they do not need to give out whatever they've assembled. So I understand in that scenario, but at the same time, it's the department that, I don't know how to state it exactly, but I feel like you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah? But anyway, that is the current situation in Malawi. I feel like the death toll will still rise as days are going, because obviously people are still missing. So as more bodies are being found, the death toll will rise. And currently, a lot of schools will probably be shut, because people that have been displaced they're staying in schools. Also, another thing that I also noted is the fact that a lot of people should probably be cancelled on HIV and AIDS, because the way these camps work is there is nothing like men will sleep in this room and women will sleep in that room. They are all just mixed. So what ends up happening is everyone sleeps with everyone. Honestly, for as long as I've been told, that is how it works. People sleep with anybody they want in such scenarios, which then just increases, people that get HIV and AIDS. So a little bit more counseling on that should also take place, where other resources to be given should be condoms, to be quite honest. Like, the beautiful organizations supplying sanitary pads and whatnot, but also provide condoms for these guys, just so people are staying safe, even though we know that chances are very high that some people won't use them. But regardless, it's nice to try. And yeah, anyway, if you have gotten to this part, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, like I keep saying, don't forget to subscribe. I guess the goal now is to get to 300 subscribers, so don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.